So we are looking at a stack of sources today that, I mean, it really reads like a thriller for utility nerds.
And frankly, for anyone who pays an electric bill, we've got FERC dockets, market reports, the text of the OBBBA legislation.
It's a heavy stack. And all these, dry government documents are actually telling the story of a massive identity crisis for the American power grid.
Right. And the main character in this crisis isn't a person.
No, it's a power plant. The J.H. Campbell Generating Plant in Michigan.
So here's the situation. The owners, the state regulators, they all wanted to retire this coal plant in May 2025. It was old, leaking oil.
And closing it was set to save ratepayers something like $600 million. But then the Department of Energy stepped in.
They used Section 202C of the Federal Power Act.
Which is the federal government's break glass in case of emergency button. You usually only see that during, like, a war or a major disaster.
Exactly. But the emergency here wasn't a hurricane. It was a spreadsheet, a forecast. The DOE argued that grid reliability was at risk, so they had to override the state.
It's this huge jurisdictional collision. Local control versus, federal panic.
Panic is the right word. And we have to talk about what's driving that fear. It's not just about keeping the lights on anymore. It's the demand spike from AI.
The numbers are just wild. Data centers are projected to chew up 12% of total wholesale electricity by 2028.
An incredible jump. So the federal response, this OBBA legislation passed last July, it's a complete pivot.
It's a 180 on the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah.
OBBA cuts off tax credits for wind and solar by 2027 and goes all in on energy dominance.
Which means fossil fuels and nuclear. The logic is that renewables are too variable for AI's needs. You need firm iron in the ground.
But keeping that iron running is, it's expensive. By September 2025, keeping Campbell on life support had already caused a net loss of $80 million.
And here's the kicker from the FERC docket.
Those costs were socialized.
Spread across 11 states. The argument is that since the grid is all connected, a plant in Michigan provides, insurance for the whole region.
So if you're listening in Iowa or Illinois, you're literally paying to keep a coal plant running in Michigan.
And the big test of this strategy came just last month during Winter Storm Fern.
This is where the story gets really interesting. The DOE points to the data and says, see, Campbell provided 650 megawatts a day. It saved lives.
A simple, clean narrative.
But the market data we pulled tells a much, much messier story.
Very messy. Grid operators had actually over-forecasted the demand.
So in a place like Chicago, power prices didn't just drop, they went negative.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking negative $315 per megawatt hour.
Which is a signal of extreme market distress. It's like force-feeding someone who's already full.
Exactly. When you force these old plants to run no matter what, and then the wind blows hard, you just flood the grid. It creates instability, not reliability.
It suggests you can't just bludgeon the grid into reliability. The market is pointing toward a much cheaper, smarter alternative.
Virtual power plants. VPPs.
Instead of one giant plant, you're aggregating thousands of home batteries, EVs, smart thermostats, a digital solution.
And the economics are hard to ignore. We compared the capacity costs. A VPP comes in at around $43 per kilowatt year.
43, a traditional gas peaker plant, that's about $99.
Less than half the price.
But of course, the OBBA created a massive roadblock there, too.
The Foreign Entity of Concern rules. The FEOC rules.
Since the battery supply chain is so dominated by China, about 80% of all those planned storage projects are suddenly disqualified from the tax credits.
So you're in this bind. Federal policy is demanding expensive 20th century power to feed 21st century AI.
While actively blocking the cheaper, more agile tech that could actually solve the problem, we're trying to solve a digital problem with an analog hammer.
And so there's one final layer here, what the reports call the biophysical gauntlet.
Right. While these policies might suppress immediate rate hikes, the EPA rollbacks and the OBBA mean pollution standards are dropping.
The estimated health impact from keeping just the Campbell plant open, we're talking asthma, heart disease, it's up to $879 million a year.
That's a staggering cost.
Which leaves us with a heavy question to end on. Are we actually securing the grid, or are we just shifting the bill from the ratepayer's wallet to the taxpayer's lungs? Something to mull over. Thanks for diving in with us.